Hi, I'm Phil Bridges, owner of Straight Arrow Repair. Ever want to know how a repairman fixes things? Well, come with me and I'll show you how I solve problems. Let's make things better together. Don't wipe it down, just leave it like that.
Oh, with the glass. You gotta get your handle on it, I guess.
I could just do the same thing with the corners up here. Alright, so we put the cover on with screws, and to get it to where it's off, you end up putting this little slight notch, not the flat areas on top and bottom, but there's a notch even lower right here. It's got to face down to the drain. Well, we've got the screws put in to hold the ring on. We've made sure that this area here, this stem right here, has two flat areas. One of them has a little notch right there. That goes down, straight down. That gives it to the off position. Then we're going to slide this piece, which is actually two pieces. This is how you adjust your temperature for max so you don't get yourself overheated. We don't know what the temperature is yet, may want it overheated, but it is something that you can do. So you put one inside the other, has the ability to move so that you can stop it before it gets too hot. And then this black piece goes on it like so, and it'll only go on now. Notice how that's facing down. Then we put this screw in. I don't have a screwdriver. I would recommend using a screwdriver, but I have to hustle to go get one. I'm going to go in real slow so as not to strip it. There we go. Now, if you notice inside this handle, there's an area for that notch to go into. That's right here.
There's a screw, it just goes at the bottom.
That seems kind of loose. There's an Allen wrench that they give you with the set.
So that's the handle on.
Not terribly fancy, but
Ta-da! No more cell, right?
now you can take that back out, take the handle off, change the position of that middle white piece after the black piece is off, and tilt it back that way so you stop at a warmer temperature instead of hot or a cooler temperature. So that's something you have the option to do. I'm not real happy with how that wiggles around. What we've had to do, I couldn't take you with us to do it. The fixed panels, the larger panels, have to go on first. You would want to put them in first to see how they do and get yourself familiar with what's going on. In this case, the larger panel goes on the larger side. And that panel goes into the slot here after you put silicone in there for it to stay. And when you do that, this area right down here that it sits on is sloped away so it'll run water away. But guess what? It tries to slide down. So we put silicone on here before we put the panel in, and we put silicone in there like I said. Then I cut a piece to hold it up against so that silicone will hold. And I did the same on this one. Silicone in here and silicone down here, and then put a piece in here to hold it solid. Now this wasn't quite as level, the wall is not level, so it wanted to pop out on the bottom. So what we did is put this piece in here to the corner to hold it in place, and that way we did the same on this. Didn't really have the same problem on this one, but we did on that one. So you want something to hold it in place until the silicone dries. That's 100% silicone. Now what we did find is that the instructions were not complete with what we had, so we had to send off, and they had them available on how this works. By that time I'd already kind of figured it out, like you see right here. I had to figure out what the purpose of this one here with the rubber in it, that is what the sliding panel bumps into. So you figure out, if you don't have this, it will roll. When you roll it over here, it'll fall out. Well, no, it won't. When you go back here, it'll fall out of this one. So we gotta set this where the bracket here is glued on. It's got some plastic pieces that go in it. But you glue that in place, and you glue the plastic piece in place so that it will slide inside of that and bump into this one, not come out. If that makes any sense. So this one has to be glued yet, and we're going to work on that here shortly. But there you go. We're making progress, and the instructions are. The pictures sometimes are a little bit better, but they're not a very good picture either. And these are the handles that you have. Round handles, no brackets at all. The rollers are, on this case, it shows you how to put those rollers in, but they're already in place and fastened, so we can't mess with that until that is solid in place.
In grout?
We've ordered grout. We'll show you doing that later. Well, we got to grout all that and then seal it. There you go. Well, this is a Sistine Stone corner shower. When it was delivered, one of these pieces was shattered. Had nothing to do with us. When we uncovered it was that way. Now we're going to take out, hopefully carefully, in case you guys know, nobody that does this, I'm going to use a little piece of wood to keep from hitting this side and breaking that side and have more to replace. gonna have to vacuum all this anyway. Don't want to get underneath that other one. We want to get all this stuff out of there. Blow on it. Guess I gotta close my eyes for that. I don't have a glass in my eye. Alright. This is a piece that we cut off of the length. So what we'll do is we'll take this one here off of this, and it has a backing on it. I can do this without cutting myself. Run the razor knife behind it. I think I'm going to go ahead and take all this off of it. Or at least a lot of it off. We're going to have to arrange it.
This is what, 100%?
100. Everything in this kit has been recommended adhesive is 100% silicone, which I have not experienced silicone being used as an adhesive. I've used it to seal up things. This is unusual for me to use 100% silicone instead of like liquid nails.
But it
But
is
I understand
holding.
in a wet position, I understand why you'd want to use silicone.
Use your knife to.
Push it over a little bit. There we go. It's a lot better than little pieces. They're all shattered.
It's a vacuum pen.
Now we're going to vacuum it up and then get ready to put grout on this part and the band.
And open the.
And I'll put silicone around those containers. But what we ran into last we were here was the instructions, which have been consistent, hard to understand. These pieces here, somehow I got the impression that there was a loose piece of plastic that goes inside these that was supposed to sit on this side and it slides through, but it didn't go there. The loose piece of plastic goes inside there. You put it on this glass here, up a little bit, your camera. So you sit on top of the glass and then you slip this over it, and it really is hard to get on. That way it doesn't move much here. You put a little silicone at the same time while you're inside there. So it goes on top of the,
Like this.
matter of fact, there's a good example, yeah. Right there. We got too much silicone, but we got some cleanup to do. Maybe overqualified for that. Now, the reason you would have that is if you don't have that bumper right there, this would fall out. So,
You're happy with it.
so we've got this one in, we're gonna put this one in. By the way, we had to shim these to get those, if you can see that little piece of plastic right there, to get it to sit straight. You may have to do that too. Again, these are siliconed in place.
Not this one though, unfortunately, because we have to.
Put the glass door
Actually,
in.
we might have actually still got some. Yeah, we're just gonna slide the door.
Yeah, ideally, if we can. So that's what we're gonna do, is put the door in. I'm gonna do some drywall finishing up there, and we'll vacuum all in here and grout all this. Then we'll go underneath, work on the drain. We'll take you with us. Okay, we're installing a Fluidmaster 14x14 click fit excess panel. It says to cut along this dotted line, and then that is your template. So blew away. So that is supposed to be a 13 3/4. Set my depth so it's just the thickness of the siding. Still bridges. If you like what you saw, you think it might be helpful to somebody else, push that like button and let other people know what you and I now know. And we'll work together toward making a brighter future. And by the way, we're not Americans, we're Americans. See you next time.